Thousands attend the funeral procession of the Iranian President Ebrahim Raisi was killed in a helicopter crash, and thousands of Iranians came to Tabriz's streets to mourn him. Mourners waved Iranian flags and the late president's image as they followed a funeral procession through the city in northwest Iran. On Sunday, a helicopter carrying Raisi and 7 other people crashed in a hilly region of Iran, killing them all. Not all Iranians backed the president, and many took to social media to rejoice his passing, despite the large crowds. Tuesday saw large gatherings of mourners trail a lorry bearing Mr. Raisi's and his surviving loved ones' coffins, among them Foreign Minister Hossein Amir Abdollahian. We, the members of the government who had the honor to serve this beloved president, the hard-working president, pledge to our dear people and leader to follow the path of these martyrs, Interior Minister Ahmad Vahidi stated in a speech. Raisi's body will be transported by air from Tabriz to Qom, regarded as Iran's second holiest city after Mashhad. Then his body will be transferred to Tehran, the capital of Iran. On Wednesday morning, the city will host processions, and Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, the supreme leader of Iran, will lead prayers at a goodbye ceremony. On Thursday, Raisi is then anticipated to be buried in Mashhad, the city of his birth. On Sunday, the helicopter went down near the Azerbaijani border, where Mr. Raisi was visiting with President Ilham Aliyev of that nation. He was there to open the Koda Afarin and Kizkalasi dams, according to the local media. His passing was reported in an early Monday bulletin on state television. The Iranian Red Crescent also verified that the president's body and the bodies of the other victims of the incident had been found, and that search and rescue efforts were concluded. Members of the president's security detail, the flight crew, and provincial officials were also killed alongside the foreign minister and president. Hardline cleric Raisi, 63, solidified conservative dominance over the entirety of the Islamic Republic with his election as president in 2021. Elections to select a new president are scheduled for June 28, according to state media. Vice President Mohammad Mokhber has been designated to take over temporary responsibilities in the meantime. Iranians' reactions to Raisi's death are conflicted. Hardliners in the Islamic Republic of Iran adored Ebrahim Raisi for his devotion to and submission to the country's supreme leader. He was detested by many Iranians, meanwhile, just as much for his part in the mass killing of political detainees during the 1980s as for his more than 4 decades of service in the legal and security apparatuses that repress the regime's opponents. The founder of the Islamic Republic of Iran, Ayatollah Ruhollah Khomeini, nominated Raisi to serve on a committee that handled political prisoners in the 1980s. Numerous trials conducted by this committee, later dubbed the Death Committee, were followed by hundreds of execution verdicts. Over 5,000 political prisoners were put to death. Their relatives never learned where, how, or when they were interred. Raisi's unexpected passing has caused some relatives of those put to death following the Death Committee proceedings to express their anguish and outrage. They had hoped for a long time that he would be tried for crimes against humanity in an international court at some point. This can never happen now. Raisi's supporters would point to the portrayal of him in Iranian state media as the president of the underprivileged and disadvantaged. Following his election as president in 2021, Raisi made a number of trips throughout Iran, making commitments to combat corruption, lower inflation, and construct millions of reasonably priced homes. Under his direction, the backlog of court cases was partially processed with reform, and some officials' family were detained for bribery and corruption. In spite of this, Iran's economy deteriorated, and hardliners enforced more stringent speech restrictions and a more rigid clothing code for women. Mahsa Amini, 22, passed away in 2022, 3 days after being arrested by morality police in the nation's capital for allegedly breaking Iran's stringent laws, mandating that women cover their heads with a headscarf or hijab. Significant nationwide demonstrations were caused by her death. Witnesses said Masha Amini was abused while in detention. However, police refuted these claims, blaming her death on sudden heart failure. Not President Raisi, but Iran's supreme leader was the target of most protesters' ire, since opponents and critics viewed the president just as a puppet, chosen through a rigged election. Many individuals think Raisi did not succeed in making life better for Iranians. The affordable homes he promised have not been constructed. Inflation is at its greatest point in the history of the Islamic Republic, and the value of the Iranian currency relative to the US dollar has plummeted. The elite Quds Force, one of Iran's 5 divisions of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, IRGC, carried out its strategic plans under his leadership, spending billions of dollars to support Hamas in Gaza and proxy groups in Iraq, Lebanon, and Yemen. This money, in the opinion of many Iranians, would have been better off being invested in their future. Hardline followers prayed for Raisi's safety after word of his helicopter accident leaked, but a large number of Iranians rushed to social media to express their joy at his passing. They believed that he was never serving the interests of the Iranian people, but rather carrying out the directives of the supreme leader.